This week on Dear Bros, some lady brings her demon child into work and causes a lot of problems.
Stay tuned.
You're listening to Bro Down Podcast all fucking day. Oh, yeah.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Bro Down Podcast. I'm Tim Fulton.
I'm Andy Smith.
And this is Dear Bros. On Dear Bros, we rip some advice column question and answer them with our own bro brains. Andy's up first. Andy, what are you, Dear Bro?
Kids at work. This one is titled Noisy Daughter is a Distraction in Office. Dear Abby, due to COVID shutting schools down, my employer is now allowing staff to bring their kids to work if they don't have alternative health care. Good shit, but
nice.
Probably going to be a lot of problems.
Yeah, I agree.
I bring my 8-year-old, and I have seen many other kids around. Most of them are well-behaved and don't cause any problems. What could go wrong? Let's read on. However, we have a new employee, Michelle, sounds like a bitch,
Someone's tested.
who has started bringing her 4-year-old with her. The child, I'll call her Autumn, is in her mother's office, but she's so loud she can be heard all the way across the building! Exclamation point. Damn. I thought surely Michelle would close her office door and contain Autumn's, quote, jolly voice inside her own area. But she seemed... Why is that in quotes? Does she call her daughter's voice jolly? And
You will like her voice. It is happiness.
yeah, inside her own area. But she seems perfectly happy to let her daughter make as much noise as she wants. I don't understand this. Other parents make sure their kids behave and act appropriately. What can I do to let Michelle and my supervisor know that while, yes, she can bring her child with her, it's still her responsibility to make sure the kid isn't creating a distraction, ? Tired of the noise?
I have two immediate comments and stories on this.
Okay.
One, we used to have a receptionist who worked in our office who would bring her daughter around every now and then because she didn't have any other options. And I respect that. And I understand that. And the little girl was adorable, but my God, was it chaos. And I'm
Really?
convinced she stole my back scratcher. And I am pissed off
Back
about it.
scratcher?
Back scratcher! And I'm pretty sure she stole a bunch of keys to, like, not...
Was she, like, aspirations to be a janitor? What the fuck?
We don't know, but we couldn't find, like... So our cabinet, or not cabinets, but like to our desks, we had the keys in there because there was nothing like important in there, and
You got to know better, man.
one of them ended up locked, and we couldn't find the key anywhere, and there was only one 6-year-old girl running around. So I respect the problem. I understand that it has to happen, but it is what it is. Thing number two, I'll never forget this. My nephew, he was 2 years old. He was younger than that. He wasn't quite able to speak yet. He could say like certain syllables, but not really. He was intelligent enough to know that he could articulate what he wants, but he wasn't at the point where he could do it, and he would get frustrated, and he would scream, and he would do it all the time. And I remember having a conversation with my sister-in-law years later saying, remember when James would scream? She was like, no. They got so used to it that they just tuned it out. They just didn't hear it. And when I say he screamed, like he would sit there and go, ah! And they would be like, what do you need?
Yeah, you have to... We don't have kids.
We don't have kids.
We don't know shit. All right?
I'm trying to do this without judgment. I'm just labeling facts.
But I feel like you're trying to not make a little douchebag.
That's true.
Right? You're trying to not make a little douche. And this reminded me of a story that doesn't really apply because it wasn't at work.
Okay.
I've told you this before. I think of it every time I think of people that have trouble parenting children. And my phone is blowing up right now. So, how dare I? In Quick Check, lady's checking out.
Yep.
She's got a kid there. You know those kids you can't tell their age because they're so behemoth-y?
Yeah.
Like, they're not just, like, chubby or fat, but they're also big.
Yeah, I know.
But, like, they got, like, the little spinnaker hat on, and you don't really know if they could be 4 or they could be 9. Like, they're just in that weird body shape.
And they just do, like, the weird kid look.
Yeah, but they also act like you don't know what, like, you're saying words in a sentence that sounds like you're older, but you're acting like you're 7 years younger than that.
Yes.
So He's in line, and he's got like a 44-ounce Slurpee or a slushie with, a candy bar and something under the other arm, like a 2-liter bottle of soda to wash the slushie down with. And he's walking out, and the mom, you can tell like they're in a rush or whatever, but he's like, I want one of these. And she's like, no, sweetie, you already have this, that, and the other thing. He's like, but I want it. And she's like, no, you already got it. And he's like, I want, like, bitch, I want that. Like, if you don't get me it, we're staying right here. And I was like, this kid's gonna get smacked right in line, because I'm like, that's what's gonna happen.
It's about to happen.
It's gonna happen. So
it didn't, did it?
I'm looking, and I'm like, I feel bad, because I'm like, this kid's gonna get he's gonna get a fresh one right in front of everybody. And nope. She was just like, oh, sweet. All right. Oh, okay. Which one do you want? And like, he's like, I want that one. And then I want, and he was like negotiating with his mother as a child.
Yep.
And I'm like, you're like, the kid's gonna, like, he knows how to negotiate, but like, you're making a shithead.
You're turning him into a fat lawyer.
Like, it's just like, I don't know what the fuck that is. I just see that, and I'm like, that ain't the way you do it.
Yeah, I know.
Like, I don't know what the way you do it is, but I know that ain't it. You don't negotiate with a 6-year-old.
So I hang out with my nephews enough where I get glimpses into parenting. I'm by no means a parent.
Yeah. No.
But I get glimpses into it. And so for this Christmas, and I'm actually going to pose you this question. We're not answering this bitch's question. By the way.
I'm going to answer this question.
I'm going to pose this question to you. What do you do? I got my nephew a riddle box, and I put cash in it.
Okay.
Because he's relatively smart. I know everyone says that about like the kids that they have, but he's
not every kid's just so you know, not every kid's a genius. If you think your kid's a genius, you're wrong.
So my nephew's
probably not.
My nephew's a genius. So I want to push him. I wanted to push him a little bit and see what he could do, because he is a smart kid.
Yeah.
So I gave him a riddle box. It took me a solid 20 minutes to open it. I wasn't expecting him to open it even that night. I wanted to give him something that challenged his mind, something that's a little different, something that's not a video game, and let him work through the motions to get it.
Okay.
The problem with this generation is they need things now.
Instant gratification.
They need the instant gratification. And my nephew's always had this problem where if he doesn't get something right away, he gets upset.
Oh, that could be good or bad.
Now,
let's hear the rest of how he handles things.
Now, keep in mind, it's Christmas Day.
Oh.
And it's a gift I'm giving him for Christmas.
Okay.
So he's working on it. And he's like, can I have a hint? I gave him a small hint. Nothing that would fix it. And he's like, all right, spin it. I'm spinning it. It's not working. He would go to someone and they'd be like, I can't figure it out. He would go back to me, can I have another hint? I'm like, no, you got one hint. You have to work on it. This is something you have to do. And he lasted about 5 minutes, and he got so up. He gets himself worked up. He started to cry, but not like the fat kid in the store where he's like, give it to me now. He gets himself to like a point where he's like,
he doesn't know how to handle it.
He's upset with himself.
Yeah, he doesn't know how to handle the stress.
Exactly. So he lasted 5 minutes, and he was so depressed about himself, he was crying. So I looked at my brother, and I'm like, do I tell him how to fucking open
No.
And that's what my brother said. He's like, no, this is a life lesson.
Yeah, no.
He has to learn to relax. And so I'm like, all right, I won't tell him. So I go into the living room, and my dad, his grandfather, had opened it. And my dad was all excited because he's recovering from a stroke, and he didn't think he had the dexterity to figure it out. Like, he couldn't use his hands. And he was like, I did it!
You undermined your brother unknowingly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I don't think you can do that. I think you got to let that...
The kid was crying on Christmas Day because of a gift I got him.
Yeah, but...
I understand, but it was difficult to watch.
This is what's... I feel like major lessons that people remember are opportunistic.
Yeah.
They don't come from somebody sitting you down and being like, this is it. Like, you can get that if somebody continuously repeats the same things over and over again. But lessons are opportunistic. Everyone remembers, like, this happened, and then this happened, and then I got it.
Yeah.
Or you didn't get it, or whatever. But if you don't take advantage of those situations, that you're almost like teaching the opposite at that point. And I don't even know if it's as much as like it's that thing right there is 2-point, right? He's got to learn how to calm down and relax. But what's more so is that this is your thing. It's your task. If you don't do it, that's fine, but you don't get the prize.
That was the lesson I wanted to teach.
Yeah, like you have to put the work in, and you have to say you can huff and puff and this and that, but then you're not going to get it when you're huffing and puffing. You're going to get it when you're calm.
Yeah,
and you might put it together that hey, maybe calm is the better way to go, or you might not, and you might smash it and be like fucking hitting shit's the way to go.
That's the funny thing. After he opened it, he dropped it and it broke.
Yeah.
So we were all laughing like
Yeah.
he should have just dropped it from the kid. All right. So this woman, what do you tell her to do?
So
how do you fix the 4-year-old
bringing the kid to work, all this stuff? I would definitely say something. I would probably tell the manager first.
I agree.
I would probably approach the lady that had the kid as well. I would go to the lady. I would tell the manager probably first, and I would say, listen, I'm just letting you know in case this and this happens. I'm going to talk to her and just let her know. So that way, if she comes to you and says something, I didn't say nothing like that. I'm just letting you know. I'm going to go ask her to, if she could do something with the kid, because I just can't work.
Yeah.
But guys are different. Guys are different. Like, I don't know how a woman would handle. I feel like they might get like mother bear with that.
They might. I would say, can you please close the door?
You're like, hey, you mind closing the door? I just can't concentrate with thing. I got problems with loud noises and concentrating.
Yeah.
Put it on yourself.
Yeah.
Extend an olive branch.
Extend an olive branch.
But the difference with guys at the office as girls is if it's all guys to the office and they bring their kid and someone's like, hey, keep your kid quiet, and the dude's like, no, everyone would be like, bro, your kid's being a fucking jerk off. Stop. Like, shut the door.
Or even just look at the kid and be like, shut up.
What's your advice?
Shut up. Ask her to close the door.
Santa doesn't exist, you little fuck.
Said a bad
I'm
word.
going to take all your presents.
I'm going to take all your presents. You're getting coal, kid.
Yeah. What's your advice?
You're getting coal, and I'm going to shove it down your throat.
So coal and shove it down the kid's throat?
No, ask the mother if she can close the door, and that's it. And see if that works.
Okay.
Escalate it only if it has to escalate from there.
So,
because you said she's not closing your door, so ask her to close the door.
That's the best way to start it.
If she's a reasonable human being, she'll say okay and close the door.
Yeah. Dear Tired of the Noise, I do not think it would be prudent to talk about this with Michelle, which is sure to make her defensive. You should, however, inform your supervisor that because Michelle's door is left open, her daughter's jolly voice is creating a distraction. If it has been causing a problem for you, the chances are doing the same for other employees and reducing productivity. So, this is where it gets weird for me.
What?
Because, see, real quick, this is how I look at it. I look at it as if I'm the person with the kid, I'd be like, oh, just ask me to close the door. I'll close the door. But then I would have to assume that I'm so fucking dumb, I don't know that my kid is screaming in the office and that's rude. So I have to basically say, I'm as dumb as that person, which means I'm probably going to take somebody asking me politely the wrong way because I'm dumb.
I don't think it's a dumb thing. I'm going to be fair, or I'm going to try to be fair to the parent and say sometimes you lose the sound. No.
That's in your own house.
No. You don't hear it. Like,
where was this when they were doing it?
It was at home.
Okay.
But
if that kid is doing that in church, do you think they hear it?
They don't go. Oh, no, they do go to church.
I'm asking you a question. If they're doing it in church, do you think they hear it?
I will say no, but I think you're oversimplifying the problem. I think that parents tune out noise more.
Then you're an asshole. If you're doing it at work.
I'm saying it's not, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not, you're not doing it intentionally. It just happens.
I'm not
it's
saying.
Like you get used to something so much.
I see what you're saying. And I do understand that. But I think that you have to be aware of what is going on in your environment. You have to be. You can't just make an excuse for everything. You're making an excuse, like, not meaning you. I'm saying, like, oh, well, the kid just screams. I can't do nothing about it. But then it's like, well, he screams all the time. You don't even notice him screaming. It's like, well,
But that's the point. If you don't notice him screaming, if he makes a loud noise,
but
and
that's
you don't
you're an adult.
Yeah, but that's my point. How do you become aware of something that you're not aware of? If something is invisible behind you, outside of smacking it on accident,
Tim,
how do you become aware of it?
Let me ask you a question. If somebody hits you in your car and they said, oh, I'm sorry, I just, I wasn't paying attention. And you're like, well, you're driving, pay attention. And they're like, hey, dude, it's not my fault. How am I supposed to be aware of something I'm not aware of? And you're like, but you're driving a car. You're driving a car.
That is different.
No, it's not. You're operating a vehicle.
Yes, that is so different.
No, you're operating a vehicle and you're getting distracted. Now, that works out sometimes. It works out a lot of times where people don't hit somebody else. But if you hit somebody else, you can't use the excuse like, well, I just wasn't looking, bro. Happens. Not my fault I wasn't looking.
That's not what I'm saying. I think that is an exaggeration. I'm just saying that sometimes you have to take off the earmuffs for people. Maybe she is not hearing the noise. I'm saying don't call her an asshole because she's not hearing the noise. Give her the benefit of the doubt. Let her know. And just say, close the goddamn fucking door, or I'm going to ship your child to Guatemala in exchange for a dog.
I'm not saying I don't understand. I'm not saying I don't understand. What I'm saying is it's not everyone else's responsibility to basically coddle this woman because she doesn't understand her kid is screaming in an office. It's not my responsibility that you're not paying attention to your kid. Now, I agree. It can be white noise and you get drowned out. But that's not my fault. I work in this office.
I'm not saying it's your fault. I'm saying it's a natural byproduct. Be polite about it and don't.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
You're calling her an asshole.
No, what I'm saying is that this lady, the reason why I don't fully agree with what Abby says is that I don't think she should only go to the manager. I think that to keep things on an even, hey, listen, I don't mean this the wrong way. I'm going to you. I don't want the manager to come up to you and be like, well, how come she didn't just say something to me?
That I agree with.
Yeah. But I'm saying if she gives her flack for that, if you have to if you say hey, listen, mine shut the door, the kid's a little loud and I just can't concentrate. The fact that this situation and we're discussing it it has to be tiptoed around is fucking insane. Yeah. Realistically, that lady should be able to walk in there and be like, really? Really?
I wouldn't be rude about it.
No, I'm saying if she did it, everyone in the office would be like, I don't agree with it, but I get it.
I get it.
I get it.
You know what?
People would clap in their heads if someone did that.
If she went up there and said, I'm sorry, your daughter's being loud and distracting. Can you please close the door? I'm saying 90% of the time, this woman, Michelle, will be embarrassed more than anything else.
Yes.
And it will resolve itself.
Yes, I do.
As much as humanly possible.
I do think that there's a 35% chance that that woman gets defensive and she thinks there's nothing wrong with it. And and if it's a guy, same thing.
I think there's a 60% chance she'll get into a car accident on the way home because she wasn't aware of her driving.
You know why? Because her kid was screaming.
Any other thoughts before we close?
Let's fucking close it.
We got heated over. No. All right, guys, let us know what you think this woman should do. Should she just beat the child senseless? Don't beat a child. That's not right. We'll call DIFUS on you. Leave a comment down below what you think on this topic. Don't forget to look up Dear Abby yourselves on the interwebs. We like to rip her advice column questions, but you should go check them out for yourself. If you just type in Dear Abby, you will find her somewhere. Also, we have an advice column section on our own page if you want to ask us a question directly and you want a bro answer. You can find it by going to brodownpro.com along with all the other cool-ass bro stuff. And we will catch you guys next time.
Bye-bye now.
You're listening to Bro Down Podcast all fucking day. Oh,